Today we will be discussing Coca-Cola's market in Mexico. First off, we're going to look at the demographics. Mexico has a population of over 125 billion, a population density of 63 people per kilometer squared. Their median age is about 27.3 years, and 79% of the Mexico population is urban. Their average household size is 3.9 people, and their life expectancy is 75 years. If you look at the picture on the right, it shows the household size in different regions of Mexico. Next, Mexico's education. They have a literacy rate of 93.1% and a consumer confidence of 91.3%. Mexico's economic environment has a breakdown of agriculture makes up 3.5%, services 62.67%, industry 33.83%, and manufacturing 17.75%. It has an overall GDP of 1.2 trillion US dollars, an average household per capita of 13,085 US dollars. The lower class makes up 59%, the middle class 39.3%, and the upper class 1.7%.
Mexico has over 150 rivers, but the water volume is unevenly distributed throughout the country. 5 main rivers account for 52% of Mexico's average annual volume of surface water and are located in the southeastern part of Mexico. North and central Mexico make up 47% of the national area and almost 60% of Mexico's population, but have less than 10% of the country's water resources. Mexico also has a lot of mountain ranges. Some of the most prominent are the Sierra Madre Occidental and the Sierra Madre Oriental, which run across the western and eastern parts of Mexico, respectively, until they merge with the Cordillera Neovolcánica. The Cordillera Neovolcánica is about 900 kilometers long and 130 kilometers wide, which extends from the Pacific Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. It contains Mexico's highest volcanic peaks, including the Pico de Orizaba, the third highest mountain in North America. There's also the Sierra Madre del Sur, which runs along Mexico's southern coast from the southwestern part of Cordillera Neovolcánica towards the southern border. Mexico has a long history of destructive earthquakes and volcanic eruptions as it sits atop 3 of the largest tectonic plates, making it one of the most seismologically active regions on Earth. There are 2 main climate zones which are divided by the Tropic of Cancer, the temperate and tropical zones. Northern Mexico has cooler temperatures in the winter, much like the U.S. Southern Mexico remains fairly constant year-round, and temperatures only vary based on elevation. Mexico has very pronounced wet and dry seasons, but rainfall varies by location. The rainy season is from June to mid-October. Trade between Mexico and the U.S. has been made easier since 1984, when the North American Free Trade Agreement got rid of virtually all tariffs on goods. Mexico is the U.S.'s third largest trading partner and second largest goods export market in 2013. However, there was a trade war over sugar. In 1997, to try and protect its sugar industry, the Mexican government passed a levy on high fructose corn syrup in an attempt to keep the demand and price of Mexican sugar higher. The U.S. went to the World Trade Organization, who ruled it unfair infringement on trade in 1997. In 2002, Mexico tried again, and this time the WTO ruled against the U.S. Because of this, makers of Mexican products that contain high fructose corn syrup, such as Coca-Cola, started replacing it with Mexican sugar from sugar canes. Now, glass Coke bottles with the words "Made in Mexico" on them have become high commodities in the U.S. According to certain studies, Mexico is less ethnocentric of a country than the U.S. and Spain, but more than Hungary. This means that it's relatively easy for foreign brands to tap into the market, but Mexicans won't necessarily care as much about exotic country of origin labels. According to Hofstede's Cultural Dimensions, Mexico is considered a collectivist culture. People belong to in-groups that take care of them in exchange for loyalty. These groups are often one's family. Loyalty is very important within these groups, and everyone takes responsibility for fellow members of their group. Mexico also has a high power distance. This means that all individuals in the society are not equal. People accept an order in which everybody has a place. Mexico is also a masculine culture. Society is driven by competition, achievement, and success. People live in order to work, and conflicts are resolved by fighting them out. This culture also has a high uncertainty avoidance. Mexicans often feel threatened by ambiguous or unknown situations and maintain rigid codes of belief and behavior in order to avoid uncertainty. Mexicans have a short-term orientation and culture is normative. They have great respect for traditions and focus on achieving quick results. Finally, a high indulgence level means that Mexicans have more of a willingness to realize their impulses and desires and place a higher degree of importance on leisure time. They act as they please and spend money as they wish. Mexicans place a high value on hierarchy and structure in business and family matters. They have large families with everyone aware of their responsibilities and traditional gender roles. Parents and elders are treated with a high degree of respect, and there is often a struggle between the individual needs and wants and those of the family. Rituals are often related to the Catholic faith. Catholic priests often bless new houses and cars, and the crucifixion of Jesus Christ is reenacted every year on Good Friday. Another ritual is the Grito de Dolores, which is repeated every night on September 15th by the authorities throughout Mexico and even by ambassadors abroad. The ritual ends with a vigorous shouting of Viva Mexico 3 times. Mexican national heroes are often historical. Benito Juárez was president of Mexico between 1858 and 1865, and again between 1867 and 1872. He is an example of how a poor country boy can reach high and become the country's leader while fighting for the indigenous and the poor. Emilio Zapata and Pancho Villa also fought for indigenous people's rights during the Mexican Revolution in 1910. A huge symbol in Mexico is the Virgin of Guadalupe. She is related to the Catholic faith and is considered the mother of all Mexicans. She is a dark-skinned Mexican version of the Virgin Mary. She represents the national identity of Mexico as a product of mixing European and Mesoamerican religions and peoples. Her image was used in the struggle for independence against the Spanish.
One strength of the Coca-Cola brand in Mexico is that it's tightly integrated with Mexican culture. Introduced in 1898, it was widely distributed early and can be found in even the most remote areas of Mexico. Because it created such strong brand presence early in its lifespan, almost every Mexican alive today has grown up with it, allowing it to become a recognizable brand. Another strength of the Coca-Cola brand in Mexico is that it's produced with cane sugar, as opposed to corn syrup. Because of this, it has a more authentic taste in Mexico than in comparison to the US. People want to buy imported Mexican Coca-Cola for this reason. Also, the glass bottle is still primarily used, adding even further to the authenticity. Because of these reasons, their brand image is strong due to its popularity and reputation. This is mostly owed to the authenticity of the taste and ingredients, primarily the use of cane sugar. Also, the brand is seen as cool. Hecho en Mexico, meaning made in Mexico, is on every bottle, marking Mexico as unique and appealing. A weakness of the Coca-Cola brand in Mexico is the high consumption rate, leading to health issues. Mexico is the #1 consumer of Coca-Cola in the world, with Mexicans drinking an estimated of 225 liters per person per year. On top of this, Mexico was named the most obese nation in 2013. As a result, a soda tax was passed in 2013, adding a 1 peso charge for every liter of soft drink produced. This adds 10% to the price, eventually leading to a 12% decrease in sales over the course of a year.
When it comes to advertising, Coca-Cola uses a hybrid approach, which basically means that they don't rely on a single agency to carry out all of their advertising efforts. Interpublic Groups is the lead agency for all media planning, media buying, and media analytics for Coca-Cola in North America, but other agencies are employed to aid creative and global efforts such as Ogilvy, Spark SMG, MediaVest, MediaCom, and Dentsu. Coca-Cola also uses local agencies since they are more familiar with the market, customs, and consumers in the region. Overall, Coca-Cola has a broad target market as their products are meant to be consumed by everyone across all generations. Their products are affordable and offer variety to suit the needs of such a broad consumer base. Their ads, on the other hand, are targeted to specific groups. For example, Pereira and Odell's #TrueFriendship campaign targets teens to highlight the value of friendship that can be enhanced with a bottle of Coke. In addition, during the FIFA World Cup, Coca-Cola appealed to sports enthusiasts by placing iconic soccer players on their bottle wraps. The obvious theme that Coca-Cola uses in its advertisements is that their products satisfy a consumer's need for thirst. The common theme that Coca-Cola is notorious for is the concept of sharing and togetherness that is associated with a consumer lifestyle full of happiness, which can be perfectly demonstrated in the Friendship Machine video, as well as the classic "I'd like to buy the world a Coke" ad produced in 1971. Both of these themes can easily coincide with the advertisement's appeals to a country's traditions or cultural norms and interests, such as soccer, by setting it as the focal point.
For Coke's media, so it basically started out as introduction in 1898. It started out with trialability, so they had free refrigerators at local taco shacks and restaurants that in Mexico the locals would go to, and basically promoted triability and for them to just try the brand before they would buy it. So that led to a strong integration into the Mexican culture. So they basically want to tie themselves to the culture in some ways. So there's a TV spot which it has featured a luchador, which is a Mexican wrestler, which is wrestling is a popular sport in Mexico. So they use that in the ad to tie that into the local culture. You can also see that in the FIFA World Cup in 2014. They had spots that promoted the Mexican national team. So that's Wave. That's what the video is called, and they did that to promote a sense of Mexico nationalism and promote the local culture there. Also, as you can see on this slide, there's welcome signs into local villages. So this specific village in this picture, it's in Chiapas, Mexico. And so basically they just have a bunch of paintings on the side of buildings there. They have lots of welcome signs that promote the Coke name. Also, you can see on this slide, Cesar Nendez, the Coke actually had a local artist do some of the designs with pretty sure 32 collectibles in the set that you can get. There are also some prominent global campaigns in Mexico. There's the happiness truck, which actually travels around the world. You basically push a button on the truck, it gives you a Coke just to spread a little bit of happiness for some global campaigns. And there's also Share Coke, which actually went out to the teenage segment, and they had YouTube banners and Crackle, which is a popular TV spot there, and they had Coke campaigns on the top, and before ads they also did Yahoo banners and a mobile execution in Mexico. So basically, all of it in summary, Mexico is the number one leading consumer base of Coca-Cola. Basically, Coke has really thrived there because of its tailoring of its ads to the local Mexican culture. However, obviously, there's some very serious health concerns due to the high consumption rates being the number one place. Obviously, there's soaring obesity rates, and the case of diabetes has doubled. So that's actually going to come to a very big shock to Coke, and they're going to have to figure out how to combat this in their upcoming campaigns.